Hi, my name is Paul Cresswell. Welcome to Paul's Tackle Reviews. The purpose of this channel is to give you reviews of tackle that's been out on the bank, tried and tested by an unbiased, unsponsored angler, and that's me. Today we're on one of my favourites, that's elastics. I got my first pole in 1991. We didn't have a lot of choice in those days, but over time hollows came and now we're on to hybrids, and there's been lots of other innovations as well. I've always been an early adopter, trying out new things, trying to find something better. I've used lots of different brands over the years. I think even just with hybrids I've used 7 or 8 different brands, so I have tried lots of different elastics. And this isn't a video about cost, because I can assure you I would use Hydro if I thought Hydro was the best. And I've used Hydro in the past, and actually I still use the red Hydro, the 16 to 20. That's my absolute big fish. Strong elastic, strong line, big hook elastic, where there are snags and you need to get control of the fish. So I still use Hydro, but for almost everything else I'm using hybrid elastic. I like the way it powers up, and I did find with hollows that they didn't power up quick enough and they stretched too much. That said, I still use hollow in short kits because I think with the shorter length of elastic, having that extra stretch is a real bonus. I use lots of sizes of elastics. I've got lots of top kits and duplicates, and I use it all year round, hybrid elastic. I think in the depths of winter on some of the venues, I do go back to a Preston slip, solid, but most of the time I'm fishing with a hybrid elastic. And one of the things people say about hybrids is it doesn't last very long. And I think it does last well, but you need to look after it. So the first thing I use is lubricant, the Preston Duraslip. Use whatever you like. This is my second bottle in about 6 years. It lasts forever. I don't lubricate every time, but every now and again, just put a bit of lubrication in. I think it helps keep them and make them last longer. I also use hookups. And so I'm trying to demonstrate here, but I have a top kit with a rig on. You can see there I've hardly got any elastic out because the hook is in a small piece of elastic there. So what I see a lot of people do is they're not using the top kit. They set it up, they're using another kit, or they're using a rod, and then they set the rig up and they put the hook in the bottom of the top kit. Then they have 2, 3, 4, even just 6 inches sometimes of elastic sticking out. And that I believe, and I heard Joe Carras say the same thing, it's light that damages your elastic. Now that can be artificial light, but especially sunlight. So if you put that with all that elastic out on your roost, then you're damaging that elastic and it won't last as long. I think the other side to that is we've all got hard cases, and I walk around now and I see people and they've got their hard case, they're all set up and they have their hard case open with top kits in, And even that little bit of elastic that goes between the top two sections, that's in the sun. Close your hard case, keep it in the dark. Even in the garage, when I've cleaned everything, put it away, I close the hard case. I think it's light that damages hybrids. And I think people who have problem with hybrids don't look after their elastic. I use lots of different grades, but in particular in the summer, I use the 1.8 and the 2mm elastics. So they, in Duraslip, are 11 and 13. In the SRG, they are 10 to 12 and 12 to 14. That's what I use nearly all the time, but I do use others, and in winter I will go right down. I have done another video on balance tackle if you want to see how I balance elastics, hook lengths and hooks to ensure that I land as many fish as possible. So we're on to SRG Elastic. It's an online company and I've been trying various grades of their elastic for getting on for 5 or 6 months now. And the first thing I want to say is the cost is very low. So if you buy 10 meters and you buy 3 packs of 10 meters, that works out at £8 per 10 meters. Now 10 meters does 4 kits easily. Nearly everybody's got 2.4, 2.5 meter kits. There's a bit of tension, a little bit lost because you've got a side puller, so you can easily do 4 kits for £8. So that's £2 a top kit. Now, you might not want to buy in bulk, and they sell other quantities, 2.5 meters, 3, 5, 6 and 10. But even the most expensive, which is buying 1 pack of 2.5 meters of hybrid elastic, is £3.20, and there are free postage options there. So we are at the very lower end of cost now. Obviously they haven't got shop markups and they buy in bulk. I think on the website it tells you how many meters he's sold, and it's some hundreds of thousands, phenomenal kind of figure. So the cost is a big tick, that's great, but I'm not going to use something because it's cheap if it isn't any good. Now, you do hear these and you see them on forums and they say, oh, all hybrids, they're all made in the same factory, they're all the same. I've used lots of different brands and there are subtle differences between them all. They are not exactly the same. This SRG stuff, it is as good as any other hybrid I have used. And I think it's very similar performance in terms of stretchability and the ratings to the MAP and the Duraslip, which I've both used for extended periods. I would just, if you're using, let's say, 13 Duraslip, that's a 2mm. The equivalent is the 12 to 14, and that's a 2mm. So comparable diameters are comparable and similar performance. It does last well if you look after it. It is smooth, I've had no issues with that, and I've got it in nearly all of my top kits. Now, when the weather's cold, I'll be using the 1.4mm and the 1.6, which is the 6 to 8 and the 8 to 10. I have had a couple of goes with the 8 to 10, but it's not really something I use much in the summer. My big ones, as I said, I'm using the 1.8mm to 2mm. I have used the blue 2.2 for margin work, and I've also used the banana coloured 2.4mm for some big fish in the margin work where there's no snags. And all of them have worked brilliantly. I would say the 2mm, the 12 to 14, I've used extensively all summer. I have 3 top kits with that in. Invariably, I have 3 set up. And same with the 10 to 12 as well, which I tend to use as a long kit, margin, carp shallow kind of elastic as well, and it does stretch, and you can land double figure fish very easily on that. So I'm going to wrap it up. What's my conclusion? First of all, performance as good as any other hybrid. It's got a good range, and there is a good balance between the step up. As you get to a thicker elastic, you can tell the difference, and it's fairly consistent across the range. The cost is ridiculously cheap. Don't know how they do it, obviously buying in bulk, but if you buy in bulk, you're looking at £2 a top kit. So what does that mean in reality? It means if you have a problem, you can just redo your top kit. I have top kits that carry a 2mm in winter, and then I put a light one in the winter because I'm hardly going to use 3 kits with 2mm in the winter. So you can swap your elastics, and in the old days I'd try and look after it. You shorten it a little bit. It's not quite the same. At £2 a pop, you can just put new stuff in fresh when you want to re-elasticate the pole. And finally, I am going to carry on using it. I don't see any reason to swap. I don't know what the next revolution in elastics is going to be, whether there will be one, but I'm very settled on this for my fishing now. That's it. I'm going to do another run of videos. I've been quiet for a bit now. There's lots on the channel, over 100 videos. If you want to give me a like and subscribe, that's great. Until next time, tight lines.